Yeah, welcome to another episode of Dan Records and Hour of the Wolf review. As you may have noticed, things have changed a little bit. I'm trying to up my game here, try to add a little bit more production to the experience here. Among other things, the audio is now coming off the recorder. I've added some post-production to the process, so hence the titles, and maybe a few surprises later on. We'll see how it works out. I'm not sure I'm going to repeat this again. This was just something to try to see how it works out. It is going to be a little more time consuming, and since I'm behind on the next episode of Historama 3D, and I'm also taking some time to learn Blender, the CG animation software. I don't know how much this is going to eat into it, but I figured I'd try it this week. And by the way, if you are watching this and saying, I don't see any difference, it's probably because none of the extra stuff that I wanted to add to it worked out. And so I just went with the regular recording off the 360 camera like I have done the weeks before. But hopefully this will be a little bit of an added experience and you'll enjoy it. And if you do really like it and want me to continue it, comment below. I want to hear from you. Okay, so this week, if you haven't seen my posts on the Hour of the Wolf group over at Facebook, I'm going to be reviewing the National Theatre's version of Frankenstein, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller. And the reason I bring it up now is because it's only up for a limited time. And so if you are watching this on Thursday morning at 1 a.m., stop the recording, go to YouTube, search National Theatre Frankenstein, Benedict Cumberbatch, all that stuff. Watch it now, because you've only got, if you're watching it at 1 a.m., you've only got about 12 hours to watch it, and it is worth catching. Take my word on it. And by the way, what I've just found out also is that there is, well, what I already knew, that there was another version in which Johnny Lee Miller plays the monster and Benedict Cumberbatch plays Dr. Frankenstein. That's also up. That's got an extra day to it. So if you do miss Benedict Cumberbatch as the monster, you can see the production with it reversed, and I only watched a few minutes of that one. It is probably just as good as the Benedict Cumberbatch version. So, but let's get down to the reviewing, shall we? Okay, so you may notice I've pushed the camera a little back from last week because I checked it on VR and I found the positioning of the camera last week a little disconcerting. You may not have noticed it if you were watching on a computer or on a mobile device. If you were watching in VR, I was like this. Hello. And it's a little too up close and personal, I thought. So hopefully this is at a better distance right now. And here, if any of you are watching in VR, are any of you watching using VR? Again, comment below. I need to hear about who's doing what with this and when. I want to hear. Anyway, so we shall start this. I've already started up the recorder, so that's that. And one more time, if you're new to this show, let me just point out that what I am doing here is documenting my record sessions for Hour of the Wolf, which airs on WBAI 99.5 FM in New York. The show is on temporary hiatus during the terror, and so just to keep my hand in, I'm recording these things anyway and stocking them up. Maybe they'll air, maybe they won't. But this is going to be the unvarnished, unsweetened record session for this, which means that when I'm reading off the script, I stumble a lot, I fumble a lot, and you're going to hear all of that. It gets cut out when it actually airs on the radio. So you're getting it raw and natural, which sounds sort of disgusting the way I'm putting it, but you know what I mean. In any case, so I'm going to grab myself a refreshing beverage. This time around, I am not going to pause to capture room tone because while I was waiting for the opening titles to finish, I essentially got the room tone, so I don't need to do that. But here we go. Hour of the... Whoa. Yeah, you may have noticed I'm sounding a little strained right now. Let's see if I can get into the groove. Hour of the Wolf Review, air date. I had a dream it would be May 7th, 2020. The National Theatre's Frankenstein. Take one. I'm Dan Persons, and this is my Hour of the Wolf Review. The National Theatre presentation of Frankenstein, newly adapted for the company by Nick Dear, directed by Danny Boyle, and now available, if you're listening to this at 1 a.m. on Thursday, for maybe the next 12... And now available, if you're listening to this at 1 a.m. on Thursday, for maybe the next 12 hours, maybe more if they decide to extend it, presents some interesting paradoxes, at least for me. There are two versions, one with Benedict Cumberbatch as the monster and Johnny Lee Miller as Dr. Frankenstein, the other in which they switch roles. I watched the one with Cumberbatch as the monster, and the first 10 minutes is spent completely dialogue-free, as the monster emerges from a womb-like containment, struggles to gain control of his body, struggles to understand what has happened to him. Cumberbatch's interpretation is agonizing and terrifyingly physical. He throws himself at the nearly bare stage, contorts into unimaginable and inhuman forms, grimaces and screams. It's as much dance as acting, beautiful in its way, and sets the tone for the presentation that follows. Excuse me if I'm getting a little slobbery here. Sometimes that happens. And sets the tone for the presentation that follows. What strikes me about it is the bigness of the performance. That's to be expected from a stage presentation where the audience is set at a remove, and even the cameras, also at a remove, cannot zoom in too close or risk shaking so much that it makes the production look like it was filmed during an earthquake. By the way, Danny Boyle directed this. Excuse me, stumbling a little bit. By the way, Danny Boyle directed the stage production, but the television version was directed by Tim Van Sommeren, who manages to capture the immediacy of live theater while also allowing the video medium to add to the experience. For instance, replicating the monster's pain at birth by washing the screen out with a burst of light. But while I was thinking, yeah, you're playing it pretty big, Benny, it turns out having the cameras forced to take in most of the production at closest middle distance works for the Okay. It turns out having the cameras forced to take in most of the production at It turns out having the cameras forced to take in most of the performance. It turns out having the cameras forced to take in most of the production at closest middle distance works for the performances. And don't think by calling Cumberbatch's performance big, I'm criticizing it. It's great work, downright terrifying in its passion. And the distance works for the play as a whole, isolating the monster on a naked stage, or trapping him with Johnny Lee Miller's Frankenstein in Two Shot, where the intensity of their interactions is palpable. And by the way, Miller is great in the play as well, as is the rest of the cast. This is the National Theater. What was I thinking? This is the National Theater. What was I expecting? But I've got to give credit to Naomi Harris, who makes Elizabeth, Frankenstein's doomed fiancée, much more than just another casualty along the way. Nick Dear takes profound liberties with the original text, which is pretty much necessary, yet in many ways gets as close to Mary Shelley's original intent, a nightmare made all the more indelible by its beauty and humanity. Danny Boyle translates that text into an epic and complex stage presentation, establishing a world on the cusp of industrialization through the appearance of a mammoth mechanical contraption and using a canopy of hundreds of incandescent lights to portray both the terrors and beauty of the natural world, as well as the emotions expressed in beholding it. I've seen a lot of Frankensteins, from the ridiculous to the sublime, and in my experience with proper I've seen a lot of Frankensteins, from the ridiculous to the sublime, and my experience with property is nowhere near encyclopedic. For managing... Okay, I lost the train there. Sorry. Let's try it again. I've seen a lot of Frankensteins, from the ridiculous to the sublime, and my experience with property is nowhere near encyclopedic. For managing to capture not just the terror of the tale, but also its soul, the National Theatre's Frankenstein is at the very least a match for James Whale's legendary version. It's a singular and magnificent experience. And it is, too. It's a singular and magnificent experience. And remember to check out my YouTube series, Historama 3D, available in 3D on YouTube VR. It's a singular and magnificent experience. And remember to check out my YouTube series, Historama 3D, available in 3D on YouTube. How terribly crude of me. Sorry about that. It's a singular and magnificent experience. And remember to check out my YouTube series, Historama 3D, available in 3D on YouTube VR. Wow, I'm just... I did so well on the actual text, and now that I've got the neebly little promos to do, I'm losing it. Let me pull myself together. It's all going to be all right. We're going to make it through this together. Sorry. Here we go. It's a singular and magnificent experience. And remember to check out my YouTube series, Historama 3D, available in 3D on YouTube VR and regular YouTube using red cyan anaglyph glasses. We've got the feature films Gamera and Lady Frankenstein, ahem, for you to enjoy. And next up should be Hooray! And next up should be the Hooray for Free Enterprise cartoon, Make Mine Freedom. Just search for Historama 3D. And also, if you have a few bucks to spare, please donate to a relief effort helping out during the pandemic. We're almost done. Hang with me. I'm going to get through this. Come hell or high water. And also, if you have a few bucks to spare, please donate to a relief effort. This isn't Christmas or Lord of the Rings. And also, if you have a few bucks to spare, please donate to a relief effort helping out during the pandemic. Local food kitchen, feedingamerica.org, Partners in Health at PIH.org. We've got to help each other right now. For Hour of the Wolf, I'm Dan Persons. Whoa, okay. I wasn't sure I was going to make it through that, and I got through all the important stuff. It was stuff at the end that tripped me up. In any case, that'll be it for this week. I've got a screener on deck. Hopefully that's going to be worth covering next week. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're safe. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. Hope you're healthy too. If you got any thoughts about what I said about Frankenstein, about these videos, comment below. Let me know. You can comment on the YouTube page. You can comment over at the Hour of the Wolf group on Facebook. Either way, I want to hear from you. Thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoyed. Take it easy.